Joining us here at Post 9 today, it's our pleasure to have J.P. Morgan's Chair of Global Research, Joyce Chang. It's great to have you, Joyce.
Great
Thanks
to be
for
here.
coming in. So, unsustainable, meaning we're in for trouble, or just don't rely on the past rhyming for very long?
Well, unsustainable, but the timing here is really hard. With a lot of people saying, is it 18 months? So 3 to 6 months, it doesn't look like there's going to be a recession. But in 18 months, that's a different question. And I think actually the message from policymakers was higher for longer. Yes, we're ready to pause and assess where we're at, but I saw very few investors or policymakers really believing that there's going to be Fed easing in the second half of the year. I think what the 60 basis points of easing that's being priced into the market is reflecting right now is, is there like a 10 or 15% chance of some real financial instability that could play out? And that's really what stood out from the meetings we had in Washington last week. Concerns about the speed of financial instability that had played out in the regional banking crisis, sort of a repeat of what we saw with UK LDI last year. But the labor market is tight. Households are in good shape. Corporate balance sheets are in good shape. But there is a sense that this cost of capital is going to feed through over the longer term.
The House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, is here at the stock exchange. Hopefully we'll get to talk to him in a few minutes. But opening this conversation about the debt ceiling, how concerned are your clients and what are you telling them?
Look, the debt ceiling, along with geopolitical risk, were really top of mind with investors, and there were real fears that could we see something that is even more acrimonious than we saw in 2011 on the debt ceiling. So when we had some of the speakers who talked about the possibility of a technical default, I mean, some of them had put it as 10 to even 35%, something that could be resolved pretty quickly, but wondering if this really was a risk and that there would be brinksmanship. Now, I don't think the market will really begin focusing on this for, sort of 2 to 3 months before the X date. But there is a question on where the X date will be. But this is definitely top of mind. And I think, very strong messaging from all of the policymakers in Washington, D.C., that, just what the consequences would be of a technical default, ratings downgrades and, other fallout to come.
This is one of those interesting moments where we're having a discussion about the issue and the players, and we just happen to have House Speaker McCarthy here.
Where did you come from?
Just walking on the floor. Thought I'd stop by.
Welcome. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
What is your message upstairs? What was your message? And how do you think markets should be responding to it right now?
Well, look, 75 days ago, February 1st, I sat down with this president. And I sat down to him and I said, let's work together to be able to deal with the debt ceiling and our economy at the same time. It's the same thing that we've done all in the past, as you've mentioned. And for 75 days, he's ignored us. I want to find a responsible, sensible way to do this. My message upstairs is if the president won't pay attention to this, if he doesn't believe that he can find $1 in savings, Republicans in the next couple weeks will act and send a debt ceiling increase that will limit, save, and grow, that will help us on economics growth in this country, will cap spending in the future, will pull back, claw back the money we appropriated for COVID but had sat dormant for 2 years. If it was appropriated to help you during COVID and you haven't spent it, it shouldn't be spent afterwards. So find the ways we can save the taxpayer money, find a way that we can grow this economy to become less dependent upon China, curve our spending in the future so we can curve inflation to help every family. And I think that's sensible and responsible. And we'd move the debt ceiling into the next year. If the president doesn't want to take action, we'll send this over to the Senate.
But there is an appropriations committee and a budget for all of this. The fiscal year ends in the end of September. Why not deal with spending cuts and negotiate with the president there? Why negotiate over the debt ceiling, which is much more dangerous?
It's not dangerous at all, especially when you sit down on February 1st. And remember, the budget is different than a debt ceiling. A budget resolution is not like in a state capitol. The budget never even goes to the president. So for the president to say do a budget, that makes no sense. What you want to do is sit down with a debt ceiling, just as America has done. Watch. When President Biden was a senator, 4 times he voted to increase the debt ceiling only if it included fiscal changes. The times he voted against the debt ceiling is because he said there wasn't enough fiscal economic change. And think about it. A debt ceiling is like giving your child a credit card, and they charge the limit all the way up. Would you just raise the limit? No. You would sit down.
Well, if it meant playing with America's standing at full faith and credit of U.S. government debt, I feel like you can deal with the spending in other ways, which is totally legitimate.
So if you just raise the debt ceiling, do you think $31 trillion of debt The CBO has come out in the next 10 years. Do you know we'll pay 10.5?
You did it 3
We'll
times in
pay
the Trump
10
administration.
As we did economic changes. We never raised the debt ceiling by
But the
itself.
tax cuts, that was like $2 trillion the deficit.
And you know how much we're bringing in revenue? On average, in the 50-year average in America, you bring 17% of GDP. Today, we're bringing 20. That's the only 2 other times in modern history in America have you ever brought 20% of GDP.